Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the mind of Jaglavak 1963, a super complex, totally fascinating, and, let's be honest, a completely broken protagonist from a seriously dense sci-fi world. So, to really figure out what makes this guy tick, we're going to break down his character sheet into 5 key sections. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, so before we get into all the deep lore and the heavy stuff, let's just establish the basics. Who is this guy and what is his whole deal? Well, when we first meet him, it's at a moment of, real vulnerability. He's just been unplugged from his massive machine, he's surrounded by a bunch of people, he immediately clocks his therapist, and his guard is way up. This line. This is just the perfect introduction to his personality. After almost a solid week of saying nothing, not a single word, this is what he comes out with. It's aggressive, it's bizarre, and it perfectly captures someone who is just completely detached from how normal people talk to each other. Now, check this out, because his full title is really interesting. It reads less like a name and more like something you'd see on an RPG character sheet. You've got his rank, his class, a Doralist class Nestle tractor driver, and his faction, the big bad Blick Corp. This tells you right away he's not just a person. He's a highly specialized, corporate-owned asset.
And get this, that's how many years he's been on the job, almost 3 centuries. So think about that. This isn't some rookie. This is a max-level character who has been grinding the same mission for 300 years. That kind of time in service, it comes with some serious psychological baggage.
All right, let's get into his very unique profession. We're going to look at what he actually does and, the pretty severe psychological debuffs that come with the territory.
So let's be crystal clear about this. He is not just a pilot sitting in a chair pushing buttons. No, his actual consciousness is fully integrated into this giant biomechanical thing. He is the living, breathing, thinking part of a much larger entity. And his job description is just pure, uncut sci-fi goodness. He pilots this machine called a Dorian, but it's way more than that. He's spiritually connected to all 16.7 million beings on the station's ring. His entire body clock is synced up with the ant colony he's jacked into. They sleep, he sleeps. And those manual controls you see, they're literally just there to give his muscles something to do so his body doesn't waste away.
But being this plugged in comes with a huge downside. Total sensory numbness. Taste, touch, pleasure, it's all just gone. Food isn't for enjoyment, it's just fuel to keep the organic component of the machine, him, running. He's basically lost the ability to just experience the world.
And this creates the 2 sides of his life, right? When he's in the cold, out in space, he's a numb, super efficient part of the machine. But when he's on station, on his downtime, he becomes this guy who's desperately trying to feel anything again.
Now, you know how every epic character has that one critical event in their backstory, the one that changes everything? Well, for Jaglavak, it was this traumatic, reality-shattering fall through space-time itself. It was an event that basically took his machine-induced numbness and added a huge layer of trauma on top.
And the craziest part? The trigger for this whole disaster wasn't an asteroid or some enemy attack. It was a song, an aria from one of these powerful beings called Queens, whose songs can literally navigate space-time. It resonated with his systems, and everything just went haywire. And this just breaks down the absolute chaos of that moment. The song hits, his whole rig flashes to some random protostar 100 years in the future, and then his pod just plummets and crashes on Earth, back in 2019. I mean, it's a completely disorienting, traumatic dive through time and space.
And the fall, well, it left him with permanent damage. In game terms, his core abilities got seriously nerfed. He can't open Tesseract gateways properly anymore, can't jump very far through time, and crucially, the singers, who used to help him navigate, they can't inspire him anymore. That connection is just gone.
So, after all that, what's his current main quest? It's basically a mandatory therapy session. The goal is to clear all those long-term debuffs. But it's more than just the company trying to get him back online. It's really his only shot at reclaiming the humanity that the machine and all that trauma have stripped away from him.
So the corporation's official fix is this thing called recompression therapy. It's basically a forced program to help him recalibrate his senses and reconnect with the physical world, to pretty much relearn what it even means to have a body.
He actually says this directly to his new therapist. So even with that tough, abrasive attitude, he's totally self-aware. He knows he's broken, he gets that his numbness is a problem that has to be fixed, whether he likes it or not. But what's really cool is he's got his own personal ritual for this, kind of a side quest he gives himself to get back to his happy place. It's this 6-step process, and every step is about reclaiming a piece of himself, getting real sleep, creating art, eating food with actual flavor, and it all ends with him writing it down, and then just letting it go.
So, where is all of this going? Let's look at how this all comes together, because it sets the stakes for his next huge journey, and what's really the ultimate test of all this therapy. 2 years. That's how long his trip home to a place called New Planet Africa is going to take. It's a long dive at near light speed, and this whole journey is basically the time limit for his therapy to actually work.
And here's the real kicker. The whole point of all this therapy isn't just about him feeling better. No, it is a contractual obligation with a very specific, almost impossibly delicate, measurable outcome. After all the numbness, all the trauma, Black Corp needs him to be able to apply a touch so gentle it wouldn't even tickle.
And that just perfectly captures the entire conflict of his story. It leaves us with a big question, right? After 300 years of being a hardened, unfeeling part of a machine, can a soldier like Jaglavak 1963 ever truly learn how to be human again?